everyone. This is episode 101 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. As you can tell right now, if you're watching this on video, OSG is not with me right now. He's actually getting his way back from Houston because we're recording this on Sunday afternoon. And pretty much, if you guys are already aware at this point, the Dynamo game that was supposed to be played today against LAFC was postponed to a different date. Pretty much the weather got the best of things, and it kind of sucks, especially because OSG made his way from Austin all the way there, and now he's making his way back. So he's not here for that. I need to record this episode, but we did go ahead and record the previous action from this week. We did record the post game for Dynamo against RSL on the road, and also the Houston Dash on the road against the Chicago Red Stars. And pretty much when we get into the episode, we do have all those things for you. And just before we get started, I just wanted to remind you that we did post a couple of interviews from Herman Benitez. He actually represented us in the press conference for the introduction of Ezequiel Ponce, and along with Pat Onstad. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend doing so. It's pretty much a good material. It's roughly about 30 minutes of good, pretty good material, especially exclusive content coming in from Pat Onstad. So definitely something that should be taken into account, especially when in a couple of weeks Ezequiel Ponce is going to take the field, and it's going to be insane. So with that out of the way, let's get into the episode. And as always, y'all, stay noodle. All right, y'all. As we have been doing since last week, we're testing out all the streams, just making sure everything's going okay. So if we pause and all that, don't worry. It's not the internet. It's probably just me. But yeah, we're here just to chat some Dynamo. And we just came out of the game against RSL on the road. We lost 3-2. And it's a pretty tough game. I know it's going to be pretty tough from the start. And at least it started to look like that way. But it's I would probably say like a tale of two halves probably, and really just a lot to discuss tonight. But OSG, let's open with you first.
Oh man, road game RSL. You didn't really know what to expect tonight. You expected a competitive game. Starting lineup was the first thing. Was Sebas was going to start tonight? No, Seba got the start. It didn't seem to make a difference whether or not who started after watching what happened tonight. So you thought you had RSL's number. They were mad after last year, losing to us in the Open Cup and in the semifinals of Western Conference. Whew, so yeah, they were mad. Whatever. Now I'm mad.
Like honestly, I wasn't really looking at the stuff that we did last year, but rather the fact that like I would definitely beat them in those games last year for sure. But just looking at their record this year and the games they have played, at least some of the games that I've been able to see from them, they look like a much different team. They have a very explosive attack that tonight it was pretty much all over the place, and Houston was just like having issues like back to back trying to contain them.
Oh yeah.
And this game it could have easily gotten out of our hands. They missed like 4 opportunities to score, and like 3 of those were like open, like one man open inside the box with like Steve Clark in between the goal. And yeah, it was a tough game to watch, honestly.
Bro, when the game first started and the way RSL was pressing and Dynamo could not get out for the life of them, nothing, kept giving up the ball, kept putting themselves under pressure, and then all of a sudden you know the Dynamo build up what who you could create something and do something pretty fast and out of nothing, and then what do? They created something, and Aliyu with a beautiful ball from Seba and finishes it. Well, surprise everybody. He can finish when he wants to. But before that goal from Aliyu, you're like, what are we? Oh, Jesus Christ, we're getting our butts kicked here. Like, what the hell's going on? The goal was a blessing, but yeah, man, just the way this game just played out from the start to the finish is mistakes. mistakes.
Yeah, and just to get with the lineup, and we've been like discussing a lot when it comes to time management for the players and rotating them out because it's pretty much crunch time now. We're gonna be we're pretty much in probably the toughest week of the year, one if not one of the toughest ones. As obviously tonight we have RSL, and Sunday we're hosting LAFC, two of the best teams in the Western Conference. So I was expecting us to rotate some of the players, although we definitely saw some of the starters play this time around. And the one thing that was pretty obvious, like heading into this game, was the fact that Sebas Ferreira was benched for this game, and Kovacic was just pretty much the person that's going to be up top playing for him. And yeah, for me, when it comes to the striker position, Kovacic was is definitely one of the players that have been showing out compared to last year, and he's been showing progress for sure. And Kovacic there, I feel like that's a good alternative based on what we have right now, and and of course that spot is pretty much just waiting to be taken over by Ezequiel Ponce. So that's pretty much what we have right now. But I want to hear what you think, OSG.
No, I mean I'm fine with Sebas starting, and because we've shown that it can work, and it was working before Sebas got healthy, and we were scoring goals. So it's just the false nine side of things instead of the striker side of things. Things are, I don't know, and that's false nine. You're also more defensive too at the same time. So it's gonna this game this game just turned into the brain fart style of the Dynamo, where we're just making mistakes. So like I said, I'm okay with Sebas starting over Sebas. I'm okay with Sebas starting over Seba. We got a nice taste of Sebas tonight. A good 45 minutes. So, and he didn't do anything. He didn't really, he. He missed that one ball from Herrera, who ended up going into the goals. So, it kind of depends. Who do you want and who's going to be hotter? Tonight, neither one were.
No, and the player for me, that Aliyu is, and Aliyu has been pretty much showing progress. Like he's been getting more
Mm-hmm.
involved in goals, and of course getting the first goal of the game here very early. And look, the thing for me, if I can find a silver lining out of the situation, is the fact that Aliyu is finishing, man, and we that's the thing we need to see the most. And as fans of like everything that he has been going through for the past year or so, like that's the thing that he has been struggling. So yeah, like
Oh,
it's
finishing.
just good to
Yeah.
see, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you expect him to miss. You expect him to take a bad touch. You expect him to do this, and he's finally taken a couple of good opportunities when it's put in front of him. So too bad it hasn't been more and more opportunities come out of it. But you the way the game started, you're like, okay, they're going to leave him open. They're going to leave him do this, and you expect a big game, and then it just turns into the game that it turns into. But yeah, proud of believe he's scored a couple goals like he's supposed to recently. Contributed assists as well recently. So
No, yeah, and that was the first goal of the first half, and early in the game, like it looked like RSL was going to be the team that was going to get in front, particularly because of the high press, and Houston was able to notch that the goal first. And from there in the first half, it definitely looked like RSL was trying to get back into the game, particularly because they kept just pressing up and just trying to like choke out Houston. And I don't want to talk about that first goal, but unfortunately we have to. And man, like when it comes to Mikael and trying to uh, try like just asking him to like not make silly mistakes. Obviously, he's working on those, but at the same time, it definitely
well,
sucks because like it yeah.
let's talk about it. That was a stupid, silly, just dumb mistake. And when this happened, I'm like, oh god, another mistake from Mikel. And and these are mistakes. This one was probably one of the worst of the mistakes that he's been making with the bad plays and the bad pass backs and the bad moves. And this time the ball literally bounced 6 or 7 times before uh, the ball even made it to Steve Clark, who did come out to try to make a play, but that it never should have been put in that situation. Mikhail should have played the ball, cleared the ball, touched the ball, anything the ball, just letting it sit there. You're going to let Gomez bite, and that's what he does. And friggin' just ridiculous. And I don't know. Out of the recent form, if I'm a scout, I'm looking at him and like, okay, he's made too many mental mistakes that don't make sense. If I'm Europe, I'm like, I'm going to back off from this guy for a minute and see how he develops from here on out. It's just too many stupid mistakes that you make as a USL player, not as an MLS player, and not as one that could be touted to going overseas and playing, another game. He's perfect fit, but not when you play mentally this way. Nope. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, and RSL would then just follow up with a second goal, and this one was from like Luna just finding a gap like right outside the box to put it past Steve Clark, and that was a definitely decent goal. He found that opportunity and made enough space, or at least all of his teammates made enough space for him to just maneuver around. And yeah, it was a good goal, but unfortunately for us, it just going back down to just going back to the game and having losing that lead early. It was definitely you could definitely see that this game was going to be tough for sure, and that's how I felt.
Bro, it was that stupid press again. We give up the ball, they turn, and then we're not marking aggressively. The dude makes a couple turns to the right, a couple touches to the right, and is wide open. What was that? 22 yards outside the box, and friggin' just beautiful right into the net. Nothing Steve could do, and that's on the defense for not marking up, especially after a quick turnover like that was. So and I'm curious. I did not have a chance to listen to the press conference when we started recording for this episode, but I'm curious to see how mad Ben is in the press conference, and if he was really mad. And it's just got to be frustrating how this game turned out, and you're only at 2-1 right now, RSL. So
Yeah, right at halftime. Yeah,
yeah, so it only gets worse, and so I imagine I'm not going to enjoy Ben at this point.
no, yeah, and especially if Herman is there because I know that he definitely loves Herman whenever he has questions, and that's the thing I love over Herman. He has the tough ones.
Yes, the one's been doesn't like answering and
Yeah,
gets asked repetitively too. But shit. Herman had quite the day though. He had a good day doing his work and getting into it. But so
definitely.
yeah, Ben will suck it up and just deal with it, and it'll be a shorter press conference than normal.
Yeah, and the second half will start, and this was a pretty strange goal by Ache. He because right when the second half started, Sebas was subbed on for Latif Blessing, and keep in mind Blessing was like carded in the first 5 minutes of the game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And for me at that point, I was like, okay, we need to rest him, and he can be a liability in this game for like the next 85 minutes, so we have to take him out. And he had a decent game. He had to be taken out second half for that reason, at least how I see it. And obviously coming now will be just save us. Obviously he's getting back into the group of things. I feel like he could have contributed to this game, and he almost did uh, with this goal. Well, Ache's goal because he was outside the box by. He was somewhat far from the box, and he sent the cross inside the box to send Sebas to like at least tap it in, and Sebas missed the ball, but I think it hit like one of the RSL's defenders' foot a little bit, and it deflected the ball inside the goal. So that was a decent goal, I'd say.
I don't think the touch from the RSL player made a difference. It was the miss that Sebas made that did make a difference. The keeper
Yeah,
made his choice, and it ended up working out. And you know, Even if Sebas did get a touch, I don't think the keeper would have got it because he was standing his ground. But that would have been a tough save to make. But yeah, Sebas missed. Looked like he should have had it, no problem. Ended up working out in the end, and Hector Herrera with a goal. It better have counted for him in the end when they go and review the tape and the stats are final. So give it to Achi Achi, but yeah, it worked out in the long run. So whatever. Sebas will say he did it on
Yeah,
purpose. I'll say, yeah, right.
and from there, that's when things just started going south, at least for Dynamo, because RSL, their counter is incredible, and we just kept losing the ball, and every time we lost the ball, it's kind of like they knew what they had to do to leave at least one or two defenders against three other attackers, and all you see is just all the RSL attackers just like spreading out, and I'm just terrified because I'm like, okay, that they're sprinting towards you. We only have like one defender in the back line or two, and we're in trouble. And like for a couple of occasions, it just looked like they were gonna put the game away very early, and thankfully that didn't happen until they scored the third goal. And the way they've been doing in the second half, it was tough to watch because they've been stretching out Houston defensively, and they've been putting all the pieces forward, and they've been able to find those gaps like almost every single time, and that's how the third goal came in because they all the defenders were just like stuck like towards the end line, and Ojeda was just wide open inside the box. He just put it far from a card to make a difference, and it was a good team goal from them. But for me, it was tough to see because the constant attack by RSL, it was terrifying.
And you said counter. I think today it was just we just got beat up by their press, and their press was so high. So when they won the ball, their forwards were already above where they needed to be, and they just were prepared for it. And when you're winning the ball 90 minutes for 90 minutes of a game, and you're pressing the way you press, like, you're going to take advantage when you win the ball and put yourself in those situations. And crap, they did, bro. We looked horrible today defensively, marking, offensively trying to get out of the back and working our way to the offensive side of the ball. So RSL finally pulled the right number out of the hat and played their game against us, and it definitely worked this entire game. Somehow we got two goals out of it just because of the creativity that we can when so it did. The positive I take from it is at least the Dynamo can still score goals even though you're outplayed the entire match and keep yourself in the game. So that's the silver lining out of this is even though you played bad, you kept yourself in it and kept it close. So it's just fixed the mistakes before the whistle blows for the end of the match. But today we could not. It's just like I said, it's going to be disappointing, and Ben's got to be mad at this game, especially when you're on the road. At least it wasn't at home. That's the only benefit, I guess.
Yeah, and right after the third goal, it was just miserable to watch, and
God, yeah.
it's a constant attack, like players wide open, and they missed like three sitters, and I,
Mm.
I was I was like, yeah, this is pretty bad, and like overall, like really, I was expecting them to like at least push forward, Houston to push forward a little bit more, and they've been able to like find those gaps, but I also feel like the support wasn't there to at least create that lucky opportunity to tie the game. And RSL just like played a pretty good game. They played the game they had to play against Houston, and they get the 3 points here. For us, like I wouldn't say it's definitely a lost opportunity because we're pretty close to get the point, but at the same time we're playing one of the best teams in the Western Conference, and at least they put up somewhat of a fight. So like I'm in defense, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. This was just a bad mental game all around, and hopefully you flying back to Houston and getting to play on Sunday. You get an extra day's rest. Even though LA is at home tomorrow, and then they travel to Houston. So, but they're playing a huge game on July 4th. As you're hearing this, this is recording after the RSL game with LA FC and LA Galaxy still to play at this point. But so one, you really didn't rotate the roster at all for this game, so it'll be curious to see who 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 gets to start on Sunday. And it's going to have to be something different, man, because like you said, going from RSL straight to LAFC. So you could be playing the third to the best team in the Western Conference back-to-back games. So you say huge back-to-back games, man, huge weeks. Hoping to get something out of these two games and not get nothing. So, yeah, I hope the boys they're mad and they're going to come back and they're going to fight and they're going to be hell in the shell come Sunday. And yeah, but missed opportunity, like you said. But when you play like that, you miss the flight to RSL.
Right. And yeah, it's gonna be a big game coming up against LAFC. And I believe they're playing the Tráfico tomorrow, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's gonna be a big game for sure. Both LA Galaxy is actually pretty good this year, so it's gonna be a pretty insane game. And we definitely get the extra day's rest, which is good for us, but it's still going to be a pretty difficult game either way. They're going to be coming in with a rotated squad, I'm sure. Their players are extremely good either way. That can definitely match us in a particular situation, but we're going to be rotating as well. Although I feel like we're going to have most of the starter stuff we've seen tonight there, or just getting some limited playing time.
Yeah, I don't know what else what Ben's can do different. If Stairs is ready, maybe he plays. Sebas might start, even though he played half the game tonight. I don't know what much of a difference then you could do. Maybe you hope for Panama to lose on Saturday. Coco is suspended again and doesn't play, and uh, he's like, okay, well, shoot, let me fly back down to Houston and get into this game on Sunday, and maybe potentially play. Probably not start, obviously, but they come off the bench. So, I don't know who you want to. Colombia is going to beat Panama, though I don't see Panama beating Colombia. So, you know, uh, come on, Coco. You can use this Sunday against LA, but that's something that somebody also brought up. Like the team looks good with Coco missing. I'm like, well, yeah, sure, okay, but
Right.
Blessing didn't have exactly a great game tonight. So I still would like to see Coco back, and as long as he's on this team, I want him to start. So he does bring
Yeah.
something extra to the team.
Yeah, Coco is going to be coming back pretty soon. And although I don't expect them to for Panama to beat Colombia, like just the thought of Panama beating Colombia will be like a massive upset because Colombia hasn't lost a game in like the last 50. Yeah, I think they have the best for a national team. They have the best record, unbeaten record in the world. So it will be a massive upset. But yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be back. I'm sure by next week for sure. And and it's gonna be a big run, especially for summertime and to catch up with
Yeah,
other lost results from previous months in the season. So a big break ahead for us.
yeah, I'm ready for it, but I'm ready to end this game and stop talking about this crap that we just watched tonight and move on. And I'm hopeful for the dash to perform, and then we'll see what we can do on Sunday against LFC at home. But man, before this game, we had a big day with Ezekiel Ponce being announced officially in Houston and having a media day, and Herman with his boots on the ground and getting
Yeah,
some great content that I'm sure by now as this recording finally comes out that you've seen some good clips from Herman of talking to Pat and talking to Ponce and just having a good time and looking forward to what Ezekiel can bring to this club and see where he fits in team believes he fits. He fits the mold. He was scouted correctly. He was physically seen. So, I'm curious, and now I'm excited. I was excited, but now he's actually here, and the 20th is coming fast. We're on July 3rd as we're recording this, so 17 more days. Ready. But he's in Houston. He's going to be training with the team for a good 2 weeks, good full 2 weeks, too.
No, man, I'm excited. I was listening to the entire press conference at work. Like it was roughly 30 minutes, and just all the responses that he provided, it just gave a lot of confidence. It definitely gave a sense of just being like down to earth and understanding of her situation, and just grateful of the opportunity that he has, and
Mm-hmm.
just grateful of Pat Onstad and the staff that were able to bring him in, and it's pretty obvious. Like we already trust Pat Onstad, we trust Asher Mendelsohn in the whole process, and no man, yeah, this our new a record signing. He's gonna have like a lot of expectations from day one, and he's gonna have, like you mentioned as well, he's gonna have a lot of time to practice with the team and get to know them better. And man, it's just only a matter of time. Like is until his first game comes out. It's been confirmed that he's gonna be a feature in his first game that's gonna be eligible. It's gonna be on July 20th against on the road against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and the first home game for him should be the first Leagues Cup game against Atlas. So a lot of games to look forward to. Man, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Bring it on. Let's see what this man can do. The hype is there. The fans are ready. The fans are hype. I'm hype. I know Herman's friggin' hype, especially since he was standing 2 feet from the man talking to him today. So let's see, man. Let's see. He definitely fits, and the fans are going to grow to like him really quick. So I hope he comes in here with a blast and just knocks the friggin' come on, think about it, bro. How many goals we've been scoring recently, and then you add this guy to the mix, and if he comes in and he plays what we expect to play, watch out. The West is a tough place to play, but let's let Houston make it even tougher to play. I like it, bro. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a road game, and now we're gonna go ahead and get into the next games.
We're gonna be changed jerseys.
All right.
Let's go, bro. We're live. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I know, man. I
Let's
guess
go.
like leaving the buffer for the episode, but
Let's go. Let's
yeah,
no
guys,
buffer.
we're just coming in from what you could call a soccer game in between the dash, visiting the Chicago Red Stars. And just before we get into that, we're just catching up to a couple things. I'm just coming back
Yeah.
from last night watching the Venezuela game. They got knocked out by Canada on penalties. I'm
Damn.
pretty sad about it still. And that's how the game works. So we'll leave it at that. And also because of that, I wasn't able to watch the Dynamo 2 game, which they ended up losing in penalty kicks as well. I
Damn.
want to get rid of penalties altogether at this point, but that's not the only way we can do things, unfortunately.
No, hire me as a penalty kick coach. All
Right?
the shenanigans, all the BS is going to be out. We're going to practice kicking to the corner, left corner, bottom, top left, right, bottom. We're just going to kick a damn penalty kick. We're not going to try to be fancy like Messi and hit the freaking crossbar and miss his penalty kick and then get bailed out. So hire me as a penalty kick coach, and we're going to take penalty kicks. If you don't know how to take a penalty kick, you won't be taking them.
Those just seem pretty easy, honestly. And yeah, just like that, we should probably hire you, or the club should hire you at least, because we're gonna need you eventually, especially with the Summer Cup coming up and Leagues Cup
Mm-hmm.
and playoffs
Yeah.
potentially. But yeah, shout out to those, I guess, also because we didn't talk about this in the last episode, but they did finally win their third game of the season against Minnesota United 2 last week, and also on the road. So kudos to them, and also because I say I got goal of the week. So shout out to that.
Yeah. That was sweet, and I thought we were going to ride off of something after that Minnesota game, but obviously not. It's just disappointing the way, man, Dose can't make up their mind. And last week Kenny Bunny lit a fire and it worked, and then this week I guess the fire just kind of went out already. So it wasn't it was a sparkler. It was just a July 4th pun that Kenny Bunny made. It's over with now, so I guess we're back to the good old ways of Dose this season.
Honestly, no, yeah. And with that out of the way, let's get into the actual meat of this one, the Dash game that we just came out of, and that was some pretty good background noise to sleep to, honestly.
Oh no, man! It was a good game for the Dash. A really good game for the Dash. But before we even got into the game, we found out Tarsi was injured, so we're not going to have Tarsi. Puttingham was obviously on the yellow card suspension, so we're going to be missing her. I thought Rubenson would get slotted back in, but she was just on the bench and ended up getting no time. Yuki got slotted into play, and then Adressa getting another start. Ordonez getting another start. So it's like, all right, cool. Well, you fill in the blanks. I'm okay with Yuki. She played okay. So, Jane Campbell's last game before she takes off to the Olympics as well. Tarsi would have been last game. And then Alozi last game. We'll talk about Alozi here later, man. But nothing too out of the ordinary with the lineup there. Right? Oh, Peterson drops in and plays the right back for Tarsi to cover, which is fine. That's kind of what we expected. So, then but I don't know if there's not much to do. You have other moves. Barb could have started, so I can't complain about what the lineup was that went out there, and you're still trying to find a way to create goals and create chances, and so it's what else can you do to the lineup before and then the whistle blows.
Right. No, but just to really get the positives out of the way. The first 15 minutes were probably the best minutes, or at least when it comes to consistency in the attack. I was looking forward to Yuki starting because I knew she was going to bring her A game, and for her and Alosi, we have seen continuous chances after chance after chance, and they didn't capitalize on that. But still, they were able to create those opportunities, and for at least early on the first half, it just seemed like they were taking advantage of that opportunity to get in the game early and start contesting for it. But it just fell off after that early window in the first half.
Well, I mean, all right. So possession the entire game. We'll just go ahead and get that out of the way. They possessed the entire game. Looked like the better team the entire game. I don't know if Chicago's game plan was to not press, but they did not press whatsoever. Just
Yep.
allowed us to move up to the attacking to their defensive half of the field, no problem. And so you're like, all right, well, that plays into the Dash's hands, and it looked really well. It looked really well. We were having some opportunities. The shot ticker kept going up. I think we almost made it to 20 for the entire game, but I was like, okay, all right, we're moving the ball. We're still making some of those easy mistakes where you overpass the ball or you just make a pass to somebody that's not even there or whatever. But we got to get those. We got to get those out. I think they just need to practice on the final third of the field for the entire friggin' week coming up. Or for the entire month.
That's our month, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and practice it in Leagues Cup, obviously. So, but I'm okay, man, with the way they played today, the way that game started, the way it manufactured throughout the first half and the second half. Mallory Swanson obviously is a beast, so anytime she gets the ball, she's going to dribble on her feet, and nobody knows how to stop her. But even though she's trying to get to that left foot, going the same direction, but Chicago was pretty smart, playing her on the left and then moving her to the right, so she was all over the place, being the stud that she is, and obviously that one stupid mistake again turned out to where she she put something in the net that Jane Campbell can't stop. Even Jane Campbell can't stop. Is what I should have said.
That wasn't really her fault, and I
No.
believe it all started with like a bad back pass from Ramona Bachman. She was trying to like
Yep.
give it back to Yuki to keep the play going, and
Yep.
Chicago was able to like recover it quickly, uh, uh, and Mallory was just at the right place at the right time after the run, and she got a pretty good shot off outside the
Yeah.
box. Yeah, and that
No,
was it was probably the worst time possible in the first half because it was pretty much at the end of the first half, and I was like, okay, Houston had a couple good things going, and that goal happens, and I'm like, yep.
I know I was already working on what I was going to type up at halftime, the halftime tweet, and and then obviously this frigging goal happens, and it really didn't change much except for they got a frigging goal, and I'm like, God, playing so well, so many positives in the first half, but the major negative is you still didn't score a frigging goal. You took advantage of a half, and you come out with nothing out of it. Then you make a mistake and give up a goal to add on top of it before you go into halftime. So I'm curious as to what Ricky Clark had to say at halftime to the team. I don't know what.
Yeah, and something we have to mention, of course, is the fact that this is Ricky Clark's second game coaching, and Faralon's still uh, missing. I believe it's mostly because of the the illness that was mentioned last week, and we're pretty much heading towards the international break without him. At least trying to see what works and what doesn't. This game in particular, I'm mostly just upset at the scoreline, but it did look like they had like a few ideas going on for them in this game, and I just also thought that in the second half it didn't materialize because in the second half they just looked like they were chasing the ball, at least for the most part.
I mean, Chicago kind of got smart to what was going on that game and where they could take advantage. He put the ball in the wings. Swanson was running down the wing, going crazy. That other girl, Fitzgerald or whatever her name was, I forget her name. It's not Fitzgerald, but it was just running into space, and they were able to run the clock as well at the same time, and it took a few chances away from the dash. So credit to Chicago. I'm confused as to what that game plan really was, but hindsight, it worked. They won one to friggin' nothing. I guess you only got a plan to score one goal and defend the rest of the game, and it works. You give up 17 or 18 shots. None of them were too dangerous for the U.S. national keeper. So whatever. It's just one of those games, man. But you couldn't find that striker in the box. They were doubling Ordonez. You couldn't get a good cross off to her because she was doubled. Uh, Bachman wasn't able to dribble her way through. Those final third connecting pieces within the box is what's missing. That's why I said they need just the whole week next week. Just that's all they need to focus on. Stay in the friggin' box.
The
Don't
whole
get out.
month.
Yeah. The whole month. Don't get. I mean, until the Leagues Cup, the first Leagues Cup game.
Summer Cup, yeah.
Summer, whatever we want to call it. It's Leagues Cup La Femineta, or however you say it. But they even need to sleep at their tents in the box. They can't leave the box until they start scoring goals, and that's the rule. So do something different.
Yeah, like the thing that really irked me about this game is the fact that, as you mentioned, we did outshoot Chicago, also like in shots and target, and still our best chance of the game came in from Jalissa Harris off the bench, and it was pretty much
Our
just like a cross
our
center
center
back.
back playing right forward and right wing
Yeah,
midfielder, center back. But Abasapi, hey, getting time, and she was aggressive and played, so it looked good. But yeah, but you said it was coming off a cross. Jalissa Harris with the best opportunity.
that was at right around the 89th minute of the game, which
Yeah.
I mean, cool. It's cool if we got a point, but at the same time, we had a lot more issues going on that prevented us to get back into the game. So it's not really our fault.
No. This was completely an offensive fault. Even though the one mistake came out of the defense, It's the one mistake they had for the game, and it cost us the game. But I put the blame on the offense. They got to figure out how to do this, which brings up the question: the window's going to be opening up soon as well, and do what do or do? And let's just start with do first. Do the Dash need to go out and find a number 9? And it's kind of like the same situation with the Dynamo. I know we have Diana Ordonez. Is she the 9, or should she be playing something different? Should we go out and sign a different type of 9 striker?
For
Or
me,
sign something different?
we don't really need a striker. We just need a game changer altogether. Like that can play behind our forwards because
Isn't
have
that Bachman?
it's
Isn't that
supposed to be
Bachman?
Bachman, but it's just not
Who's
at
our
least the
striker?
way she's been playing since working out. It's supposedly should be Ordonez, but she's not doing anything right now.
It's a game changing, so we need a game changing striker, I would think, and then that would open some doors for Bachman to play better in that position because we do know what Bachman can bring. She's tangled up right now. We don't have it's the Seba effect, the false nine effect. We're not playing with a striker. Or Ordonez isn't a moving striker. She's a target striker. Find her on the crosses. Find her at her feet in the box. So I don't know. Again, I think it's just a striker, but go ahead.
For me, and I was actually thinking about it during the game because I was watching the broadcast in Spanish, and the commentators mentioned the fact that outside of veterans in our bench, we pretty much don't have anyone that's going to come into the game and change it completely. And
Mm-mm.
and I was like, yeah, we need someone that can pretty much not just change the game, but also just inspire the team to get to the next level. Because right now, we haven't scored a goal in the last 5 games. We haven't won a single game in the last 5 games. We're pretty much sitting out of probably the last 3 teams in the league right now, and we're just trying to like build back. And it's bad, and it's a tough situation. Obviously, we have a lot of injuries and a lot of people on maternity leave, but still, this is our situation right now. We have to do something about it.
Well, and you spoke of maternity leave, so we're going to try to find out if any of those maternity players are going to be returning back to the team this season. Alyssa Chapman, we know, has been kind of training and practicing off to the side, at least with Canada. I think she was seeing it at Dash practice as well. So is she going to be returning to the team soon? Because you know what kind of defensive piece that she is, and she'll be helped with support right there. You also have Katie Lynn, who should be able to return pretty soon, and then you have an electric spark in Ryan Garys if you can find a position. I think this formation and this style attack fits her pretty well, so I would love to see her come back. As I also mentioned, the window is going to be opening. So is Alex Singer and Fran Alonso out there looking for something different and something more to add to the team? You definitely can't say we're done when we're not scoring goals at this. We're sitting in 12th place. Granted, we still have time to work on to get the get the whatever. I don't know. I think we need to try to make the playoffs. It's 8 teams make the playoffs now out of 14 instead of 6 what it was last year. So you're still right there, even though you're in 12th. But you can't be losing points and dropping points whenever you were the better team that game. It's just maddening.
Yeah, and I guess that's like the good news, at least the fact that we're still competing for that. The gap is not as open, but for us to close that gap, we have to win games. So it's kind of like, guys, come on, we're running out of time here. We have to win games, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty much up to them to bring someone in that can turn things around. There's still time, but it's clock is ticking.
Yeah, absolutely. Clock is ticking. Good thing the NWSL takes a month off, so it gives you time to go look for something, find something, get them in here, and get them practicing if they're not with their national their national team in the Olympics already. So yeah, let's see, and and with Olozi, Tarsi, and Jane Campbell gone, that gives obviously the keeper. There's 2 keepers we have, Hines and Kennedy, both going to. I think Kennedy was the one who's still dressed today, and Hines is still hurt somehow. Uh, I thought she just had an ankle injury, but whatever. So they'll be competing to see who's gonna get that that starting job while Campbell's gone. It looks like it's going to be Kennedy. I'm pretty sure that's her name. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So y'all are just probably in the radio like, that's not her name. Like, hey, don't worry about it. I know it's probably not her. I think it is, but whatever. Who's going to replace Alozie? I'm fine with Amanda West. I prefer Amanda West over Alozie on that wing position. I'd rather Alozie try to play that striker position. Then that's where she's just more dangerous. Speaking of Alozie, man, can she take anybody on 1v1? Every single time she dribbles herself out of her own attack and loses the ball. And today, we'll specifically talk about today, but I don't think she won 1v1 situation today. Like, God.
Yeah, like 2 out of 3 opportunities. Yeah, she's just like, she really can't do that. But yeah, it kind of sucks. But she contributes in her own ways.
Yeah, man. Just wish she would maybe play that 9 for us a little bit more, because she did dangerous that game and a half that she played up there, and obviously we're having trouble. So but at the same time, you're fitting Ordonez on the field. So if you move her over there, what do you do with Ordonez? I still say I would like to see Ordonez play out wide. But I kind of would like him to see Ben's kind of style. That 4-2-3-1, and with the way Coco pinches in and stays down, and Aliyu goes up wide. Can we do that same thing over here, man? try it a little different, but I don't know. 3-5-2 with it being attacking, that brings up the next question. At this point, granted, Fran has not coached the last 2 games, but you come in with an attacking mentality and attacking style. You change the formation, you set the pieces up. You're a defensive juggernaut now. The defense is set, but you're 5 games scoreless, scored no goals. Something's going on. Something has to change, and something needs to click right now. You've got 30 days to do it and play with it and experiment in this Summer Cup. So, Fran, now it's on you, buddy. Now it's on you, I think.
And just looking at the schedule, there's actually a couple windows of opportunities to at least take a break and see what can be improved upon, because not only do we have like the break in between the Olympics up until the Summer Cup, but also after the Summer Cup, the NWSL, at least for us, it doesn't come back up until August 23rd. So we're pretty much just looking at almost like 2 months without NWSL. And like after the Summer Cup, and like in between those gaps, we can probably just test out things, particularly in the Summer Cup, depending on what our approach is gonna be. So probably a couple of things to look at. But of course, as we mentioned in the previous episode, our first game in the Summer Cup is against Kansas City Current again. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's not gonna be easy for us, I guess.
Well, I'm sure that hopefully they'll have some players missing too, so make it fair. I mean, we play well against the Current, so we'll just see how it goes. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to playing the Mexican teams as well, and so we'll see. It'll just be a good break and a lot of coaching going on for the players that are here. But man, as far as the Dash going today, yeah, disappointing loss in a positive manner of the way they played the game, the entire thing. So I'm sure this is just disappointing. The press conference was probably down, but a lot to look forward to. So we'll just keep an eye out to that whenever that comes out later today, as we're recording immediately after the game. So I'll see what they had to say, man. But yeah, so hopefully Fran is feeling better and gets back to the team soon. But otherwise, I think Ricky's doing a good job. I like the Jalissa Harris move too.
Oh yeah, and the Go Dash, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Until the next time, folks.
Probably like a month from now, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll still keep you in tune with stuff going on with the team. It won't be too quiet, but yeah, it won't have an extended segment with no Dash games, obviously, until their next one. So, yeah, man. But Dashers, just stay tuned with us. We'll be around.